Hello, and welcome back to another Guiding Principles of Reality Explained with Lynn Forrest and Jaquetta. Whatever we focus on expands. When we direct our attention through intention upon a thing, good or bad, we feed that which we focus upon to become bigger. I have recently seen an example of this very law in our home. I have 4 children. We have a blended family, and one of our children gets very upset on the video games when he plays. And we have been working with this on him to control his temper when he's playing his video games. And of course, when he doesn't, he has to take a break. And I've noticed something that I'll get triggered by him not being in control of his emotions. And I will
lose control of yours.
I'll yell and I'll say, stop, you need to calm down. At the same time, I'm having a big reaction because I've noticed and I'm hyper aware of his temper, and I'll get irritated easily by his temper. So the last time I noticed that I was very upset with him because he was throwing a temper tantrum about it, and he knows better because we've talked about it so many times. And I got really upset and I was yelling. And then I said, I need to control my temper. And then I noticed and I said, I need to work on that in me. Just like you need to work on your temper with the video games, I need to work on my temper with you about the video games. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on not yelling at you about it. And I want you to see about working on you when you get upset, to take a break or to breathe through it. And he was like, okay, that sounds good. And then I noticed myself yesterday, I could hear him starting to get upset. And of course, my ears pricked up because, what we focus on expands. And I could hear it. But then instead of having my reaction, I took a breath and I said, hey, buddy, sounds like you might be getting upset. I'm not going to yell. I'm going to work on my not yelling at you, but I want you to work on staying calm. And you know what? It wasn't a problem. We didn't have that whole thing where he gets upset and I start yelling. It just was calm. Speaking of yelling, here comes the dogs. Got their 2 cents in here. So do you have an example? And I will mute myself so you don't hear the dogs playing.
Good. Thank you, Jaquetta. Yeah, your example was not only a great example of how it is that what we focus on gets bigger, but it was also a good example of how the world is a reflection of our own mind, So when you lose control of your emotions because he's lost control of his, then what he's going to do is he's going to mirror to you that loss of control. So it does, and you caught the loop. So it's good that I love the way you handled it with him, where you just said, well, I'm not going to lose my temper. It's just bringing consciousness to it. That's all it is. And this law about what we focus on gets bigger. I mean, it plays out in every arena of our lives, in our relationship with ourselves, as well as in all of our relationships with others, and whatever it is that we are fixated on, and especially if we're fixated on it and seeing it as a problem, then we really get to see this law demonstrated. It's like when you have, just like with your son, or when you have a relationship with a child and you are constantly giving them messages that equate you're a bad boy or you're a bad girl, you don't do it right, you shouldn't act that way, then what we're really doing is we're feeding energetically, we're feeding the very behavior, the very habit that we are hoping wishing, trying to manipulate or control them past. You know, we think that somehow that by making them feel worse, they're going to do better. But the law here that says what you focus on gets bigger defies that. It says, no, that's not the way it works. The more you give the message there's something wrong with you, the more that child is going to believe you. The more they believe that there is something wrong with them, the more they will act the part, the more they will feel the feelings that go with believing that part, and the more that they will act, the more they will act out of it and prove to you not only that you're right, but it'll get bigger. Their behavior exacerbates, perpetuates. So we've learned with this work to feed what it is you want to see grow, what you want to see more of in your children, or in your spouse for that matter, or with your boss or your peers or your best friends or your siblings or everyone. Basically, it's when I'm frustrated with them because the world is a mirror, I get to see what in me that I'm not standing in forgiveness of, what it is that I'm not forgiving. And that allows me then to stop, to put the focus here in terms of stop picking on me about it. Because when I stop picking on me about it, then I won't need to see it out there, the law of projection. And if I don't need to see it out there, then you're going to mirror that part of me that's transforming an old pattern. And that's the purpose of these guiding principles. It's the way the mind works. These universal principles are just the way we think about the world, the way we act when we believe what we believe. It really shows the power of the mind in terms of how our relationship with the world starts first in our concept about it, our beliefs about it. But this particular law that says whatever we feed grows. It's like the old story about the Indian chief who was asked, who told his grandson about the two wolves that live in his own mind. The wolf that was wanted to tear things up and was mean and a murdering animal, and the other wolf that was aligned with his higher expression of life and was the guardian and the guide and the protector and he said, well, so which one is it who wins? He said, and these two voices, these two wolves in my head are going at each other. They're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, the law of contrast. And as they go back and forth, and the little boy said, which one wins? Granddaddy, which wolf? Is it the bad wolf that wins or the good wolf that wins? And the chief very simply said to his son, well, it depends on which wolf you feed. And that's exactly right. Whatever we feed grows. Energy and attention is like fertilizer. It's like if you have plants and you pay attention to them, you attend them, you give your attention to them, you actually are fertilizing them with your attentive energy. You are sending energy their way, and you will therefore interact with them. You will have a conversation with them, i.e. you'll notice that it's getting too much sun, not enough water, too much water, and you'll make adjustments in the way you attend it, and it will thrive and grow. This is another example of the same law. What you focus on gets bigger. Whatever you focus on gets bigger. And if, on the other hand, you're busy fertilizing the weeds in your own mind, the negative mindset, the thoughts that say, I'm not enough, I can't ever get it right, I'll never have what I want, people don't love me, I'm not supported, no one cares, whatever. These are the thoughts I'm thinking over and over and over again. That is the weed garden in my own mind that I'm fertilizing with attention. I'm giving it that sort of attention. So we learn to pull our energy away from what we don't want and to put it on what we want instead.